So today let us just start with an offset function. Okay. So offset formula is a very useful formula in Excel. We'll just see how an offset formula works, and it's also a very advanced formula. Okay. So the first thing is you need to know is, see, the offset formula actually travels through the cells. For example, if suppose I'm just saying that this particular header row will not change for me, but this data's position might change. Okay. So in that case, I can actually fix my cell to this particular cell and then travel all over the sheet from this particular table. Okay. So let us just see how to do that. First thing here, if you see, I have created what? I have created a row and a column number cell for both row and column number for our offset purposes. Okay. Now let me just write some offset formula here is equal to offset, and here it is asking me for a reference. So I just want to select a cell from where I'll be traveling through all the cells. Okay. So since I want to start from here, I'll just select only this particular header here, the employee ID header, and then I'll just say the number of rows that I want to travel is this, because I'm going to type it in this particular cell. So I'll select this cell, and then number of columns that I want to travel is I'll select this cell. Okay. Now, what I'll do here is I'll just close this bracket and I'll just press enter. Now, since nothing is entered here, see employee ID, the value in this particular cell itself is coming here, correct? Employee ID, because employee ID is written in the header. Now, if suppose I want to go to the 10th row and 2 column, you can see automatically it is offsetting what? It is offsetting. See, offsetting is nothing but it will offset. So, for example, from here, the 10th row will be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And 2 rows offsetting means what? 1 and 2. It will go to the right. Okay. As simple as that. See, when I'm writing numbers in positive, these numbers are positive, right? They're not negative. So when I'm writing numbers in positive, for row, it will travel down. See here, it will come to this particular row for the offset 10, row number 10. And then it will come to this particular column here to the right. Okay. So down and right for positive numbers here. And now you can see automatically this sales is being bought here. Okay, you can see automatically here also sales is there, here also sales is there. Just to reconfirm this, what I can do is I can just say offset only one column so that the name will be bought. Now you can see Olivia Harris is being bought from this particular cell in this particular formula. Okay, so this is how we actually use an offset formula. If suppose I want to travel backward, for example, if I want to travel backward, what I'll do here is I'll just put numbers in minus. Okay, so for example, if I want to travel up or to the left, so when I want to travel up, I have to do what? I have to, in the row number, I have to say -2. Okay, and then in the column number, what I'll do here is 0, because I don't want to travel any number of columns here. And it is saying after -2, see here it is saying in this particular cell there is Excel table here, so it is bringing the Excel table here itself. Okay, so this is how an offset formula is used, where we can just travel through the cells. I can just say any number of rows offsetting from this CB. Since I have selected the reference here in the formula, so from this particular reference, I can travel to any number of rows and columns. Okay, as simple as that. Now, the next thing that we are going to see here is, today we are just going to see what is actually called as a name manager. Okay, see, first thing is, what is a name manager? A name manager is a tool which actually manages the names of the cells. Okay. So as I already told you in the beginning sessions, see here, if you see, this is a name box which shows the name of the cell, correct? This is the default name of the cell. It's actually called as A5. Okay, but in Excel, I can actually customly give it a name also. For example, if you can see, I have given name here for this particular cell as employee name, even though this is C3 here. Okay, so first we'll see how to go to the name manager. To go to the name manager, I'll go to the formulas tab here and go to the name manager. And in the name manager, what I can do is whatever is there, I'm just selecting and deleting those names because I've already created. I'll just recreate it in front of you. Okay. So I'm just deleting the name. So right now you saw to manage the names that I have given to all the cells in this particular workbook, I'm going to the name manager. Okay. In this particular workbook, when I say in this particular workbook, it means that in this particular Excel file, correct? Now, if you see now the name of this particular cell, since I deleted the already predefined names here, this particular cell is showing C3 here. Okay. The name of this particular cell is C3. Now, what I will do is see why first we'll see why do I have to name the cells here. Okay. So if suppose I'm just going to some other workbook here and just saying, for example, I'm just referring to is equal to and coming and referring to this particular cell here. Okay. Now you can see the formula is so complicated here. It's saying 26.namemanager.xlsx and in that C3 cell. Okay. So if suppose that particular workbook is not open and I'm using this particular workbook, okay, I'm just using this particular workbook here. So what will happen is the formula will keep on updating, yes, where whatever happens in that particular workbook. But until and unless I go and see what is there in C3, I'll not understand what is there in C3 in that particular work. Okay. Since even if I'm bringing here after 10 days, I might forget what is there in C3 here because it's written as C3 here. The range is written as C3. But what I can do is I can actually define the name for each and every cell here meaningfully so that later on also I'll be able to understand. Now, the first thing is we'll just see how to define a name. First thing is you can go type the name here also. Okay. I can directly go and type the name, but in this case I will not do that because I can directly define the name based on the this particular row here because here I want the employee name, so I can give the cell name of this as employee name itself. Correct. Since these two are adjacent to each other, that is, it's in the like beside columns B and C. What I'll do here is I'll just select this particular cell which I want to define name, and also defining name you have to do one by one. If you do it together, then a common name will be assigned to all the three cells. Okay. So now what I can do is I can just select this particular cell. I can go to the name formulas tab here, and there is something called as define name option. Okay. So as soon as I'm clicking on that option, you can see automatically it is saying it is taking the Ajay as a name of the cell. But I don't want Ajay as the name of cell. See, because already the data is there here, it is taking the name from the data itself. So what I'll do first is I'll delete the data here, whatever is there in all these five cells. And then what I can do here is I can just again go click on the cell, define the name here. And now I can say that, see, now it is automatically taking as employee name, which is adjacent to this particular cell. It is taking the name from the adjacent cell here. See, employee name is there. So it is just directly saying that you want employee name here to be entered. So it is taking the employee name automatically. So I'll just say okay. Again, if I have to define a name, what I'll do, I'll just select this particular cell here. I'll go to define name. It is automatically taking because I've already written it here. So what I'll do is I'll say okay. In the same way, again, I'll define this also and I'll say okay. Now, see, as in when I'm changing here, you can see in the name box also the name of the cell is changing here. Although this is still C5, it can also be called as C5 also. When I say is equal to C5 also, I'll get the same result. But to meaningfully call it, I'm giving some names here. Okay. Now I have to define the name of this also. I'll just click on this define name, say okay. And now again, I'll click here, define name and okay here. Okay. Now I have defined the names for all the five cells. Okay. Now see how meaningful it becomes when I go to next workbook here. Now I'll just say is equal to, and if I'm selecting suppose this particular cell here, now you can see it is still saying all the things, saying that it is bringing from that other file here. But here instead of C3, it is showing me EMP name. So just by seeing this, even though if I don't know what it is doing, I can directly see from the formula itself. Now my formula has become meaningful. Here, just by seeing, I can understand that it has employee name. That is what I am bringing in the formula. Okay, as simple as that. Now the formula readability itself has improved since I'm not saying C3, C5, C6, which is understandable to me later on in the period, even though if I have created. Because see, when you're creating Excel files, you'll be creating like hundreds of Excel files in one career itself, correct? So you will not remember everything that you have done. That is not possible even for any expert here. So what we are doing is when we are creating itself, we are trying to do it in a meaningful way. Okay, as simple as that. Now, the first thing we learned here is when we are giving names to the cells, it is actually meaningful in the formula. Cells, when I'm naming my cells, the formula is becoming much more meaningful. And then the second thing is, see, if I'm referring it also, for example, here, no need for me to go and see, okay, this is C3 here. What I can do, I can directly start typing. See, when I'm typing equal to the formula will start, I can directly start typing EMP, and you can see all the defined names are listed here itself. So I want EMP name, I'll select this and I'll press enter. So whatever is there in the cell will be directly coming here. So for example, if suppose I'm writing here Excel wizard and the department here is Excel 365. Employee name, what I can say is Excel wizard @ mail.com. Okay. Now what I can say, my phone number also, I can just say something 987654321. So 10 numbers is my mobile number. So now you can see as soon as I'm saying EMP name here, what is happening? It is bringing me directly whatever is this particular cell. No need for me to each and every time go and see what, okay, this is C5, this is C4, C3. Okay, since if I want to do C5, C3 and all, I have to go and check, okay, this is what is the cell. But now I can blindly understand by the name itself that what it is doing if I define my name properly. Okay, and over and above that, my defined names all will be saved in this particular name manager. You can see, I can see all the names defined in this whole workbook at one particular place in the name manager itself. I can edit it here, I can delete it here, I can do whatever I want with my user defined name. See this defined name, I am defining the name of the cell. So this is actually called as an user defined name. Okay, and also I'll show you how to define names for a set of cells also. For example, what I want to do is I want to define these three cells as employee details. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go manually and define here. So I'll just select, see, I'm just selecting the cells. I'm going to the name box, EMP underscore details, because it has all the details that I need. I'm just saying this is employee details. Now what I'll do here is, if I go to any cell here now, I'll just say EMP details. Now you can see it will bring me all the three information together. Okay, so I can define a name for a set of cells also altogether also. Okay, as simple as that. So this is how a name manager works, and this is what a name manager is. A name manager is nothing but it manages all the names of the cells or ranges in that particular Excel file and workbook. Okay, this is what is a name manager. Today we'll be seeing one more thing, something called as how to protect your workbook. There are various things that you can do to protect your workbook. Okay, so now if you see here, one second, page up, page down, page down. Okay, what happened to the workbook here? Why the sheets are not showing? Okay, here the sheets are showing. Here the sheets are not showing. Why is that? Okay, no issues. For now, let it be there. Yeah. Now what we can do here is, in this particular workbook, now I'm just going to show you how to protect. See, there are various levels of protection that you can apply on your Excel file. Okay. So the first thing is the sheet level protection. Let me just show you in this particular file itself so that here the sheets are visible. And okay, let me just copy this whole data. For example, let me just copy this whole data to a new Excel file. Yeah, I'll just say new Excel file here. I'll just copy the whole data to this file. Okay, now you can see this particular sheet I have, which is actually called as protect. Okay, now there are various levels of protection that I can apply in Excel. Okay, so when I say various level of protection, first thing you need to know is, if I come to the home tab here and in the general, you can see there is something called as more number formats here. Okay, so this is a formatting dialog which I can open, and the shortcut to open this dialog is Control 1. Okay, now when I'm opening this particular dialog here, you can see there are many formatting options here, and you can see there is a protection tab also. A protection tab will show me certain protection things which I can use to lock the cells or lock the sheet in this particular workbook. Okay. Now, in this particular protection tab, there are two options here. Let us just see each and every option one by one. First thing is lock cell property, and second thing is hidden cell property. Okay. So by default, see, by default, all the cells in Excel by default will always be locked. Okay. By default, all the cells in Excel, in any Excel sheet will always be locked. You have to unlock it if you want to not protect it. Okay. So for example, what I'm doing here is, see, I'm selecting all these cells here because I want the user to enter data in these cells, but I don't want them to change anything here. Okay, all these things shouldn't be changed by anyone here. So what I'm doing here is I'm just selecting all these cells only. I'm going to more number formats. And here in the protection property, I'm removing the locked property. See, I have unticked only for these cells. Whatever cells I have selected, I have unticked the locked property here. That means I have removed the lock for those cells only. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll just go to the view tab here. And in the view tab, you can see, okay, a review tab here. In the review tab, you can just see there is something called as protect worksheet. Okay. So this is how you protect each and every sheet in Excel file. So each and every sheet can be protected separately in an Excel file, and also a workbook can be protected. A structure of a workbook can be protected. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll just go to simply to protect sheet here, and I'll right now, let me not go deep into this. I'll go on later on. I'll explain what this is. But right now, without giving any password, I'm just protecting the sheet here, just saying okay. Now, if you see, what will happen is if I'm trying to edit this particular thing, you can see automatically I'm not able to edit it. All these things which are locked, the cells which are locked, I'm not able to edit it. Correct. But the cells which I specifically unlocked, you can see these cells I have unlocked, right? So these cells are editable. I can go edit, write anything here. For example, Excel wizard here. Okay. So by default, all the cells in this particular file are locked. So you can see I cannot use this particular Excel cell also here also. Anywhere I click, it is by default locked. Since I unlocked only these five cells here, it is showing what now I'm able to edit it. Okay, so in the same way, that particular locked and hidden property will get enforced only if you are protecting the sheet, if you're using this option. Okay, now again I'll unprotect this, unprotect the sheet here. Again, I'll go to the format dialog option here. Okay, more number formats here. Now, the second property that we need to see here is the hidden property, correct? Now, if you see here, I have written some formula here. For example, I have written a formula which is doing something, for example, okay? Now, if suppose this is a very important formula which I have created just for information property rights, or just to protect someone from copying this formula, or just for to protect someone from understanding, I mean, reading the formula and understanding the logic, if I want to actually restrict them from doing that, what I can do is I can first select these formulas which I want to not show it to them. See here right now in the formula bar it is showing, correct? Now what I'll do is I'll just go to the more number formats here. I'll go to the protection tab, and here I'll tick. See, these are already logged by default. I'll also tick the hidden property. So what I'm doing is I'm ticking the hidden property of these cells, so that now these cells will be hidden when I'm protecting the sheet. Now again I'm going to the review tab here. I'll protect the sheet. Okay, I'll just say okay here. Now the sheet is protected. Okay, nobody knows what is the password because I've not even given a password since, but it still shows locked. See, I'm not able to do anything. So the sheet is locked. Okay. So when the sheet is locked, now if you see, when I'm keeping the cursor here, you can see in the formula bar that this is employee name, correct? But if I keep the cursor here, you can see automatically we are not knowing what is there in the cell. It can be a value also, it can be a formula also, anything, it can be anything here. Okay. So what will happen here is, see, right now it is hidden here. Nothing is being shown in the formula bar since I have hidden whatever is there in this. So nobody will know what is there. Even they cannot even copy and paste this. Even if I copy and paste it to some other place, I'll not get the formula. I'll get only the value that is being shown on the cell. You can see the values only being shown on cell is employee name is Excel Wizard, employee is working in HR, employee monthly salary is 80,000. So this is what is being shown on the cell. So they will, even if they copy this particular thing also, they'll not be able to copy the formula. They'll only be able to copy what is there on the cell, that is only the text, that is output of the formula. Okay, as simple as that. Now again I'll unprotect it to just show you some other things. Okay, Now we have seen the logged and the hidden property. Okay. Now let us just see what all options are there in the protect sheet. Now you can see in the protect sheet, first thing it is asking me is I want to set a password to actually open or protect or unprotect the sheets. Okay. So here if you see, I can set any kind of password. So I'll just for now set 123 as a password. And I'm just saying protect worksheet and contents of logged cells. Okay, as simple as that. I'm just saying protect worksheet and contents of all the cells that are locked. Automatically it is ticked. I have not ticked it. Okay, and here if you see it is saying allow all users of this worksheet to. So by default, if I'm not allowing things, see on the locked cells also, if I'm not allowing them things to do, what will happen by default, everything will be restricted. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just telling that whatever on the locked cells also, users can go and format the cells. Users can go and format the, for example, insert the rows if they want to. Okay. I'm giving them only, allowing them only these two options on the locked cells. Okay. The cells which are locked. So when I'm saying okay now, see it is asking me to re-enter the password. So my password is 123 and I'm saying okay. Okay. Now, now if you see what I can do is even on the log cell, since even I cannot even edit it, but I have given for permissions for what? Only for formatting and adding rows, correct? So I can go to the home tab and you can see the formatting options are still available to me. Here it is not disabled. You can see certain options are automatically disabled here, correct? So in this way, this is not disabled. So what I can do is I can still format the cell. Even though the cell is locked, I can still go ahead and do some formattings on that, even though I cannot change whatever is there inside the cell. Okay. So formatting option is enabled. And what was the other option I enabled? It was I have to add the rows, correct? So I can add the rows also here. You can see I am able to add any number of rows that I want, even though the worksheet is locked. Generally, if the worksheet is locked without giving any permission, you will not be able to do anything on the worksheet. Okay. As simple as that. You need to know that. Okay. Now, what I will do here is, since we have already understood the protect worksheet option here, I'll again go to the review tab. I'll remove the protection. So to remove the protection, and also see one more thing I want you to know, even though you're protecting this particular sheet, see I have protected the sheet called protect. If I go to this particular sheet, still the protection is not applied. So each and every sheet, the protection has to be applied separately in this particular way. So I have to go to each and every sheet and protect it again. See again the protect option is enabled. Okay. Now in this particular thing, what I'll do is I'll unprotect the sheet here and I'll just say 123 as my password because I already know the password. Okay. Now there is one more option called protect workbook. Okay. What does this protect workbook mean? For example, when I want to protect the structure of the workbook. Okay. So I'm just saying this is sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4. Okay. I have kept the sheets in the order here. So what I'm trying to do here is I don't want anyone to change. See what I can do right now, I can rearrange the sheets like this, correct? But anyone who is using this file, I don't want them to rearrange or use any options on the sheet. See, when I'm right clicking on the sheet, there are certain options available to me, correct? So I don't want to do any structural changes to the Excel workbook. So what I can do is I can just go ahead and directly protect the work. No need for me to select any sheet because protect workbook will directly work on the whole Excel file or the workbook. Okay. Now I'll just select the protect workbook option here. I'll assign a password as 123. See the structure of the workbook is selected, right? So I'll just say 123 as a password and I'll reconfirm the password as 123. Now you can see what will happen is I'll not be able to shift anyone who is using this file without unprotecting the workbook here. They'll not be able to do the structural changes. So I'll not be able to shift the sheets. No matter what I try, I'll not be able to shift the sheets or I cannot do anything else here. Okay. So this is how a protect workbook happens. So these are the first two levels of protection. Over and above this, you can apply a password for the Excel file itself. So when I am applying a password for Excel file, what will happen is when I'm opening the Excel file itself, the password will be popped up. Without that password, I'll not be even able to view anything on that particular Excel file. Okay. So there are three levels of protection in Excel. First thing is protecting the cell, protecting the sheet, protecting the workbook, and protecting the Excel file. So there are four levels in an Excel that the protection that can be applied. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll unprotect this workbook for now. So in order to show you things. Now, if you see what I can do here is I can also specifically assign passwords for different cells, different passwords for different cells here. Okay. So, for example, if I want to edit this particular cell separately and edit this particular cell separately with a different password, for example, I am giving this password to only some people who want to edit it, and other people who want to edit this shouldn't be able to edit this. Okay. So, what I can do is I can set separate passwords for ranges. So, what I'll do, I'll select this particular range, allow edit ranges, I'll go here, and whatever is already there, whatever I've already created, I'll just say new. And what I want to do is I want to name this range as range 1. I can name it as anything as it is a separate cell and refers to cells. See, whatever cells I've selected, it is automatically representing here. And for this set of cells, what I want to do is I want to assign the password as 123. Okay. Now I'll just say okay, and I'll just say 123 again. Okay. Now what I want to do here is again I want to assign a new uh, password to these particular cells, correct? So I'll just select new here. This is range 2, and in this range what I will select is I'll select these cells here from here because I want to apply the password on that. On this, what I'll do is I'll just say the password is 456. Okay, now I can just apply the password as 456. Now when I'm applying these two passwords here and I'll say apply and okay. See, for these to get effect, for these passwords to get effect, or for me to not be able to edit these ranges, what I need to do is I need to first protect the worksheet. Over and above doing this, applying these passwords, I have to protect sheet option I have to select. Without this option, it will not get enabled. Okay, so I'll just go to protect sheet also, and without any password, I'll just protect the sheet. Okay, as simple as that. Now, if you see what I'm doing is, see, whenever I'm clicking on any cell that is uneditable, it is just showing me this message, correct? Now, if I click on this particular cell, it is asking me for a password. So, if I put a specific password called 123, which I have already given to this cell, I can edit it. Now, once I know that password, see, I'm able to edit this cell, and in the same way, I'll be able to edit this cell also, since I am able to edit the cells here. Okay, since I know the password. So if I want to edit this particular cell, what I want to do, I have to give a password called 456. So I can assign different passwords to different set of cells in this particular Excel file itself. Okay, as simple as that. So this is how you actually assign different passwords to different cells in an Excel workbook. So these are all the protection options in Excel that we have. Okay. So apart from this, do you guys have any doubt in this particular topic? You can always ask me on live chat. If you have any doubts, I'll clear it. Or what we can do is we can just go ahead and end today's session. Okay, guys. So what we can do is we can end today's session here and we'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye. See you tomorrow.